How bad does this suck? Look what happened to my Apple Watch. I dropped it on the ground and it exploded. Oh my God, can you believe that? I was totally ready to go calls, make work, get stuff done, and now I gotta go to the mall. Damn it. Damn it. Well, I got a buddy who works at the Apple store, and he said not to bother going into the store, that they don't fix them at the store. He says to call Apple Care, and they'll ship you a box, and then you put it in the box, and you send it out. While you're on hold with Apple, or Apple Care, they're like, you have choices of what kind of music you'd like to listen to on hold. How long am I going to be on hold where I have a music selection? Good news is I have Apple Care. It's 2 years. Thank God. So now the next thing is they have this express repair. They'll just send you out a watch and then you'll get that one faster rather than sending in your watch and waiting. I'm like, all right, what's that cost? Because I was totally prepared to pay like 200 bucks to fix this thing. So she calls me back and says it's 50 bucks to just swap it out. I'm like, all right. So I have just dropped $735 into the Apple store. It's costing me $70 for the replacement repair. And so what they do is they hold my 600 bucks just in case I don't return the broken phone. Then this is my Apple Watch return story. But I would like to thank Realtor.com for losing me a listing that says that the property values are going to increase by a lot. So I've got a homeowner right now who's like, maybe I'm going to wait 2 years. He just showed me a chart, a graph on Realtor.com that shows the property values going up 200,000. Okay. All right, I want to get out of here. Got to go to Bubba's Big Game. Turn off all my stuff here. Time to go. Okay, I wanted to ask you guys for one favor. If you guys are not following my YouTube channel at James Festini, look, I'm 6 away from hitting 5,400. Well, that was pretty productive. I did single line dialing, the most single line dialing. For those of you guys who don't even know, it's a very slow process, one person at a time, one line at a time. It is a very old school method for making follow-up calls. You just sit there and go one by one by one. Probably the most productive thing I can do. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's beautiful. Hopefully you can see what I see. It's a beautiful day. Today my tie is loose and laxed, but I did manage once again, it's on a Saturday, to get into the office and pick up the phones and talk to 100 people. I picked up 2 potential prospects, suspects, leads. I'll call them leads. 2 or 3 people who were never answering the phone that I finally got to pick up the phone. Today was the first time I had actually did one at a time, identifying them, and it almost took me the better part of 2 hours just to make about 60 phone calls. But it was extremely productive. So right now I want to complain about one thing. I want to complain, I have a potential client that I met up with about 2 weeks ago who was interested in selling his house. And I say was interested in selling his house. But then he recently went on to Realtor.com. Realtor.com, for those of you who don't know, is not owned by realtors. Realtors do have nothing to do with Realtor.com. Realtor.com website, the people who were running that show thought, this website thing, this internet thing's not going to be anything, so you can have it. Well, it turns out that the internet actually didn't turn out to be a fad, and someone made a huge mistake by giving away or selling off the Realtor.com logo, but it's not owned by realtors. This client, potential client of mine, said that he went on Realtor.com, and Realtor.com says that right now his house is worth about $780,000. Realtor.com says if you hold on to it for 2 years, it'll be worth $950,000. So basically Realtor.com just put me out of a deal because their algorithm predicts the market is going up for his house $100,000 a year. Like, we haven't had an incredible, I don't know, from the moment the market crashed and then the repercussions, I'd say from 9, 10, 11, right around 2011, 12, that for the last 8 or 9 years, we've had this increase in property values. And now Realtor.com is predicting that we're gonna have another 2 or 3 year run of keep on going up. And I don't know how that's possible when I'm looking at the properties not selling and people are not getting top dollar. You know, people are having to reduce their price in order to sell. And yet this internet website, which is the equivalent of a Radio Shack toy, which, you know, Radio Shack, they're out of business, but their toys, they were always kind of cool, but you know, they didn't work that good. So you wouldn't buy, you know, people just, you'd buy that toy at Radio Shack, but you know it's gonna break in a week because it was a piece of crap. It was cool, but it was cool crap. It wasn't the real deal. Radio Shack CMA. Hashtag Radio Shack CMA, which is not really a hashtag. But I mean, it really, I just can't help but wonder how we're gonna stop the consumer from believing that websites like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and Redfin, that their algorithms are reliable enough. I mean, they're pretty okay when it comes to current market values. For the most part, I'd say 8 out of 10 times, they're pretty darn close. And don't get me wrong, I check Zillow every day, 4, 5, 6 times a day, just because it's easy to go check, right? When I'm doing my calls or when someone says, what's it worth? I can go in there and 95% of the time, I can use that as a foundation for what might be the actual value of the property. But does that mean that it doesn't require a little bit more homework? No, I wouldn't go in there and say, this is definitely it. Let's list it what Zillow, Realtor.com, or Trulia says is the value. I've got to go in there and dig a little bit deeper. But again, it's always, almost always, rather predictable. It's going to be close. But when they talk about the future, when a computer model talks about the future, that's risky. Because now we're talking about the future of people's biggest financial commitment. And they're banking on an algorithm of a website that isn't really known for financing and predictability. I mean, I could understand if you're going to Bloomberg or MSNBC Money or Motley Fool or E-Trade, you know, sites that are known for predicting the future, or trying at least. Nobody predicted any of this, except for that one guy with the fake eye in the movie The Big Short. Now, his website, maybe, but Realtor.com, really? And Zillow does this too, and I don't know if the other sites do this, but they're doing this thing where it's like, here's what we think it's gonna happen. Here's what we think is gonna happen. And when they say, here's what we think is gonna happen, and it's so extreme to the point where a homeowner's like, whoa, I ain't leaving this one. My grandfather, when he bought his house in 1945, it doubled in value every 20 years. Yeah, I mean, I'm not smart enough to know, but I'm also dumb enough to know that's just kind of how it works. The price of milk, hasn't that doubled every 20 years also? It's just, I don't know, economics. I don't know, who am I? I'm just a real estate agent. But if that's the case, then if your house is going to go up $200,000, then why wouldn't you sell this one, buy another one, and let that one go up $200,000? What are you going to do with this one? And then what? It goes up to 200. It goes up 200,000. Now in 2 years, it's 950. Where do you think you're going to reinvest it, or you're just never going to sell? So it took. I mean, really, you're going to do this: buy low, sell low, buy high, sell high, forever? I don't know. So it was kind of frustrating, and it continues to be frustrating in the real estate industry for us real estate agents to see homeowners who say, well, Zillow says my value is this. And buyers, oh my gosh, buyers who are making offers on a property based on the Zillow estimate, the Zestimate. And they're saying, well, let's make an offer based on this. And the homeowner's trying to get $650,000 because the last sale was $670,000. So why wouldn't he be able to get $650,000? But Zillow's algorithm is spitting out $630,000. Well, I know, and the sellers know, and the buyer, the sellers, I know, the sellers know, the real estate agent knows, the appraiser knows, but the only one that doesn't know is the buyer who's coming in saying, well, Zillow says 630, that's all I'm willing to pay. Like, oh no, come on. I really, I don't look into it too much, but I pray, and I believe Zillow probably has a lot of lawsuits on their hands because of homeowners' values being ruined and transactions being ruined based on this estimate. Just, I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship between Zillow and I, but Zestimates, letting a computer model predict the value and not having it be 100% accurate or even 99% accurate is just far too risky. I did read an article that said the owner of Zillow.com, when he sold his house, the Zestimate was way off. Let's say like by 50%. It was something ridiculous. And same with like the owner of ForSaleByOwner.com, the website known for people doing the house transactions on their own. ForSaleByOwner.com hires a real estate agent. So it's just, we are still valued. I just hope our opinions don't go the way of the machine, because I'm telling you, my ability to help people, as much as I want to automate a lot of the transaction, I'm finding out the more I automate things, the worse off things are. And just as a broad stroke, if you're looking to hire somebody to do something and it's not something that a machine could replace, please don't try to piece it together with an algorithm and then assign your real estate agent to do the rest. Just completely ignore that, or just say it's a Radio Shack toy, this is cool, watch it, and then know that it is not the real thing, that the real estate agent is the real deal, and that these algorithms are just computer models generated by some propeller head who has no business telling you what you should know, when someone who is a human who uses logic and a little more research than just data to say this is what you should do or here's what you could do. Because I don't know how, I don't see how, if it is true what Realtor.com is saying to this man, you better buy a lot of real estate right now, because it's going up. Like, it's gonna be, and how's it gonna even be affordable in that amount of time if his house goes, it's just, computers, gotta love them. So that whole thing about act as if definitely comes into play when you need to get a wristband and have access to the field. I'll tell you about it later. So anyhow, I try to get access to the field, and as soon as I got to the gate, the guy's like, no, show me your wristband. I'm like, what wristband? So I go to the front gate and I'm like, I need a wristband. And I was just walking up with my high-end gear, my camera. They're like, oh, you're on the field? I said, yeah. And here we go. So at the end of the day, they did not win. It was pretty rough. I don't know why they hate on each other so much. It's not like a rivalry. It's just North and South, I guess. I don't know, testosterone, teenagers, stuff like that. They got a cool hat, and I got a lot of cool footage, not of Bubba. I guess a little bit, but it was a little shaky. Otherwise, who knows? Maybe that's my son's last football game. I got to go down and kind of feel the energy. And it's cold now. We're gonna go home, and I'm hungry. Maybe they'll go to Chipotle for me.